2, 1, 0. All engines running. Commit. Liftoff. We have liftoff at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
A successful launch sends Jim McDivitt, David Scott, and Russ Schweickart through the Earth's atmosphere. This voyage will see NASA's lunar module tested for the first time in the environment of outer space. This is the vehicle which will put man on the moon. The command module separates from the Saturn rocket and lunar vehicle. It spins to rejoin with the lunar module. The rocket, now unnecessary, is jettisoned into Earth's orbit. The first major test sees Commander McDivitt transfer to the lunar module. He manually takes control, using the throttle to burn each of the vehicle's descent engines. These will be vital if the lunar module is to separate. The next day, lunar module pilot Schweickart and command module pilot Scott carry out further vital procedures.
Oh boy, what a view. That's spectacular. It really is. Yeah, you want to retrieve a sample? Right, that's a good idea.
Schweickart, attached by just a simple tether, retrieves experimental thermal samples attached to the exterior of both vehicles. At the same time, he is able to try out the astronaut's portable life support system, his spacesuit, in the vacuum of space. The following day, McDivitt and Schweickart perform the biggest test yet. They crawl into the lunar module and undock with the command module, codenamed Gumdrop. The lunar module, nicknamed Spider, is maneuvered around close to Gumdrop. By firing the descent engine, Schweickart pulls away to a substantial distance of 100 miles. As they look back at Gumdrop, it is a tense moment for the crew. They are completely alone and totally dependent on the other craft to take them home. After a separation time of 6 hours, it is time for the lunar module to rendezvous and dock with Gumdrop.
Burn looks good. Good burn, Dave. Oh, very good. Thank you.
The docking procedure is perfect. With the whole crew transferred to the command module, Spider must be released, as re-entry cannot take place with a lunar vehicle attached. Before their return, the crew takes a series of extraordinary photographs of Earth. As the command module finally heads for home 10 days after launch, the Apollo team back on Earth is reassured that the lunar module does have the potential to land on alien terrain. Just 2 months later, Apollo 10 will attempt trans-lunar insertion, the burn that will head the craft into lunar orbit. Spacecraft Commander Tom Stafford, lunar module pilot Eugene Cernan, and command module pilot John Young will take another step toward man's first landing on the moon. After an engine burn, lunar orbit insertion occurs. A second burn puts Apollo 10 into circular orbit around the moon. After one of the frequent communications blackouts, the crew makes contact.
Hello, Apollo 10, Houston, over.
Roger, Houston, Apollo 10, you can tell the world that we have arrived.
How's the view, 10? Charlie, it might sound corny, but the view is really out of this world.
For the second time, NASA sends 3 men to orbit the moon. On the first orbit, the crew turns their camera on the scarred lunar landscape.
Boy, this is really a rugged planet.
Hello, Houston, Apollo 10, we've got a beautiful view of the Earth here, but it's absolutely fantastic.
The following day, Stafford and Cernan take to the lunar module nicknamed Snoopy. They prepare for the major challenge of this mission, the DOI, Descent Orbit Insertion. Snoopy will separate from the command module, now aptly named Charlie Brown. The undocking takes place out of contact with mission control.
Okay, Charlie Brown and Snoop, 3 minutes going over the hill. You'll go for undocking, and we'll see you around the other side.
The command module floats away. For Cernan and Stafford, this is an exciting time. Within 50,000 feet of the lunar terrain, they come closer to achieving NASA's goal. Lunar orbit insertion is successful. John F. Kennedy's dream is within reach.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Even before Apollo 10 re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, Apollo 11 has been rolled out to its launch pad. The biggest test of all is less than 2 months away. Apollo 11 stands ready for the countdown. 6 million pounds of machine, 36 stories tall, it represents 10 years' work for 500,000 people. The morning of July 16, 1969, 3 men have their final medical examination and get ready for transfer to the launch pad. Neil Armstrong, Flight Commander. Michael Collins, Command Module Pilot. And Edwin Buzz Aldrin, Lunar Module Pilot. This is it. The eyes of the world are focused on this day. Its outcome will change history. Propellant load pressure and temperature. Digital transmission and worldwide tracking. Stabilization and guidance. Telemetry and voice communications. Every valve, gauge, and circuit will be carefully monitored. Mission control and the crowds await the momentous occasion.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Just 2 minutes and 41 seconds later, Apollo 11 is catapulted 40 miles upward. The Command Service Module successfully spins to dock with the Lunar Module, known for this mission as the Eagle. Inside, the 3 astronauts prepare for their 3-day journey to the moon. The men follow their regular Earth-time meals. They each get their 8-hour sleep. There's still a long way to go.
293, down 86.
The Eagle successfully undocks from the command module, coasting around to the dark side of the moon. The engines are fired to slow the approach onto the surface. Collins will remain in the command module Columbia, awaiting the return of Armstrong and Aldrin.
75 feet. There's looking good, down a half. 30 feet, down 2.5. Picking up some dust. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
The lunar module stands on alien terrain, a defining moment.